Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, reaction to President Trump refusing to commit to upholding the Constitution. Also tonight, new initiative aims to keep kids safe from online predators. And we'll meet a homegrown national award-winning all-girls robotics team. Those stories and more next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your public television station.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. The Fed today held interest rates steady. It's the third straight time that the central banks kept rates unchanged. Fed Chair Jerome Powell said that the Fed's strategy continues to involve patience and taking a wait-and-see approach, especially with the uncertainty over how much President Trump's tariffs will impact inflation and growth.
Despite heightened uncertainty, the economy is still in a solid position. The unemployment rate remains low, and the labor market is at or near maximum employment. Inflation has come down a great deal, but has been running somewhat above our 2% longer run objective. In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged. The risks of higher unemployment and higher inflation appear to have risen, and we believe that the current stance of monetary policy leaves us well positioned to respond in a timely way to potential economic developments.
As for the impact of tariffs on future action by the Fed, Powell had these observations.
The tariff increases announced so far have been significantly larger than anticipated. All of these policies are still evolving, however, and their effects on the economy remain highly uncertain. As economic conditions evolve, we'll continue to determine the appropriate stance of monetary policy based on the incoming data, the outlook, and the balance of risks. If the large increases in tariffs that have been announced are sustained, they're likely to generate a rise in inflation, a slowdown in economic growth, and an increase in unemployment.
Today's decision leaves interest rates at a target of 4.25 to 4.5%. That's where they've been since December after a number of cuts in the second half of 2024. Other headlines, President Trump is thinking about renaming another large body of water. This time it's the Persian Gulf. The administration today said that the president wants the Persian Gulf to be renamed as either the Gulf of Arabia or the Arabian Gulf. No word as to why such a name change would be necessary. This follows the president's executive order renaming the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America, a change that has not been universally accepted. No decision today on a new pope to lead the world's 1.4 billion Roman Catholics. Black smoke was released from a chimney above the Sistine Chapel today, indicating that the 133 assembled cardinals had not reached a decision in the first round of voting. The Vatican conclave will continue tomorrow, with the sequestered cardinals gathering for another attempt to get the two-thirds majority needed to elect a new pope. And health note, new study shows that higher food prices are keeping most Americans from eating healthier. Survey from the Pew Research Center shows that lower-income adults are finding it especially difficult to eat a healthy diet, but middle and upper-income households are also struggling due to costs. A previous study found that more than half of adults don't meet the recommendations set by the American Heart Association. President Trump recently said that he, quote, doesn't know if he's required to uphold the Constitution. Is the president's choice, is it a choice to obey the Constitution? We asked Stephen Montoya, a partner at Montoya, Lucero and Pastor, one of our go-to guys when it comes to the Constitution. Stephen, good to have you here. Does he have a choice to obey the Constitution?
I'd like to say no, but I have to say yes and no. He does have a choice because, as you understand, last Supreme Court term, the court granted him immunity from any type of criminal prosecution for disobeying the law in the course of his office. So he's immune, and that does give him more of a choice than others have. So that's the yes part. The no part is that he's still morally and legally required to obey the law like anyone else and is not above the law. But of course, because he has immunity, at least according to this Supreme Court, he has more latitude than anyone else in the United States.
If the president, though, tells Stephen Montoya to do something that is unconstitutional, that breaks the law, what happens to Stephen Montoya?
Stephen Montoya, if he obeys, could be prosecuted. However, if Trump wants to create a pattern of ordering illegal behavior, he could pardon me. Really, the Supreme Court last term created an engine that is ripe for illegal use by making the president absolutely immune from criminal prosecution for anything done in the course and scope of his office. And the Constitution already gave him the power, the unqualified power, to pardon.
He swore an oath to uphold the Constitution. Okay, he swore. Does that make any difference at all here?
Yeah, it does make a difference, and it could be a big difference. He's already been impeached twice, but he was not convicted. The difference that it makes is he could be conceivably impeached a third time and actually convicted. That's the difference that violation of his oath makes. But violating it absent impeachment is just really something that's wrong and certainly not good, but doesn't have any consequence.
And if impeached and convicted, then that Supreme Court ruling says that's the bridge too far. You get that impeachment, that's the only way to stop him.
Yes, but the Supreme Court said that he would be criminally immune even if he were impeached. See, the current Solicitor General, Mr. Sauer, argued that he could only be prosecuted if he was first impeached and convicted, but the court actually said that he would be immune for anything that he did while in office, as long as it was within the course and scope. If he runs, his bar buddy down in the street because they get into a fight about a football game, that's not in the course and scope, so he wouldn't be immune for that.
Right.
But the types of things that he's doing now are within the course and scope.
And everything, I think his supporters will say, and the administration will say, and he will say, as long as it's necessary for national security. I mean, due process. As long as it's necessary for national security, due process goes out the window. The courts are obviously fighting back on that, but that's the position that he holds.
That is the position that he holds, and that is a false position. Remember the steel seizure case. President Truman tried to order the seizure of the steel mills in order to produce weapons towards the end of the Second World War, and the court said, no, you're going too far, you cannot do that.
Defying the federal courts as the administration has, as he has, what is the impact as far as justice in America, the concept of a veering toward authoritarianism in America? When he says on national TV, as he did, I really don't know if I need to uphold the... What does that do?
It's really bad because he's attacking something that is really the foundation of American law and really the foundation of Western civilization that goes all the way back to the Middle Ages, literally, and that is due process. That the executive, whether the executive is a king or an elected president, cannot seize people and imprison people or deport people without some type of hearing where they have the right to present evidence and be heard. It's not necessarily a jury trial. However, it is a hearing before a neutral tribunal that will allow you to present your case.
Yes. Critics, on the other hand, will say that what's happening now, what we're seeing him say and what we're seeing the administration do, is proof that he sees no constraints on him. He sees nothing to constrain him. Do they have a point?
They do have a point because he keeps on saying that that people are not entitled to trials and that he can deport people unilaterally. So they do have a point. I just hope they're wrong. It remains to be seen whether he'll actually defy the court Some people think that he already has, and I'm kind of in the middle on that, veering towards that he has.
With the facilitate,
He,
the
yeah,
word
exactly.
facilitate.
He was supposed to facilitate the return of Mr. Albrego Garcia, who was unlawfully, by mistake, deported to El Salvador, and he hasn't done it, and he hasn't tried to do it, and in fact, he's mocked his obligation to try to do it, which is really defying the court. And then subsequent to defying the court, he's also said, I don't know if everyone is entitled to a trial. Do I have to obey the Supreme Court? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. My lawyers, tell me something different, and I obey my lawyers. I don't understand how a lawyer could tell him that, which is an interesting point. See, lawyers, I'm a lawyer, and I'm afraid to defy the court because I swore to obey the court, and I feel I have an obligation to obey to be consistent with my oath. Plus, I don't want to be disbarred. And see, that's something the courts can use against him. These lawyers who get up before the federal courts and make these wild claims can be punished by the judiciary.
Yeah, and the judiciary, there are no pardons as far as a presidential pardon for that.
Very good point.
All right,
Correct.
Stephen Montoy, great stuff. Always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, sir.
Next time. After Mrs. Devine's son threatens an officer,
You'll pay for this, Helen!
the captain is murdered.
Single bullet to the back of the head.
Sullivan thinks it's Eddie.
I need this to be someone else's father.
And as the team investigates,
What's that in the handlebar?
Sullivan's mysterious activities complicate the case.
I saw you in your office.
Oh dear.
Father Brown.
Saturday night at 7:30 on Arizona PBS.
Were you aware that hiking can be healing? Today we'll hike a gorgeous trail in Sedona and spend some time learning about yoga and meditation. And later, we'll chat with some experts on how hiking and spending time in nature can benefit us and tour some trails in the beautiful Desert Botanical Gardens.
So come on, let's take a hike.
Thursday night at 7:30 on Arizona PBS.
Child Help is teaming up with Meta to create a curriculum for middle schoolers on how to stay safe when online. The curriculum will include lessons on how to recognize grooming and the sextortion scams and how to reach out for help. Joining us now is Michael Medoro. He's a Child Help COO and Chief of Staff. Good to have you here. Welcome to Arizona Horizon.
Thank you. Appreciate having me.
Yeah, okay, this program's called Staying Safe from Online Harm. Tell us more.
So staying safe from online harm was really designed to be able to address what's really becoming an epidemic in middle school years. We are seeing a rise in children not understanding how to stay safe on social media platforms, and the rise in sextortion specifically for children between the ages of 14 and 17, and specifically boys, is growing at a rate of suicidal rates inside this country.
Oh boy. And this is within Child Help's the Speak Up, Be Safe program?
Correct. Child Help Speak Up, Be Safe actually was developed in direct partnership with Arizona State University. It is the only evidence-based prevention education curriculum on the market today, designed to educate students pre-K through 12th grade, not only on the signs and symptoms of abuse, but more importantly, what to do when they witness or experience abuse. And that's really what this sextortion module is all about, to help educate students on recognizing those dangers.
And how do you educate students appropriately on something like this?
So we have a variety of curriculum that's designed for grade-specific ages. It includes a facilitator course training for teachers inside the school. It has multiple learning guides and facilitated scripts for facilitators to use. Activities that help children understand from real-life examples what to do when they witness an experience or someone they know experiences a situation of exploitation.
How did Meta get involved in this?
So Meta got involved with us as they realized the expertise that we have in this field of prevention, along with their technology expertise inside their platforms, and the dangers and the rise in dangers that they are seeing on their social platforms. They wanted to collaborate with us to create this kind of a curriculum.
And I know that they've been criticized in the past for not doing enough about this.
They have.
This would be a response to that, I would imagine.
This is a response to that. And this curriculum is offered at absolutely no cost.
No cost.
No cost to anyone.
And available to schools, to faith-based organizations, other groups as well?
Correct. Any group that is directly working with youth, specifically those middle school years and early high school years, this curriculum is available to.
When did this start?
We launched it February 2025.
And what kind of response so far?
Significant. We have seen a large demand from across the country in using this curriculum and merging it and aligning it with other prevention education efforts.
It would seem to me, though, that someone who would be interested in this curriculum, especially a parent who would want their child to learn about this and understand this, would have already been involved with their kids and in some way, shape, or form done something to mitigate these concerns online. Am I just speaking out on the top of my hat here? I mean, it's pretty bad out there, isn't it?
It's very bad, and you would think that. I can't tell you the number of parents who have unfortunately contacted us because they have lost their child as a result of this, who say everything from, we had parental guards in place, we were monitoring what they were watching online. We just got a little bit loose with kind of our controls, and the bad guys are light years ahead of us as far as using technology, especially different mediums, Google Chats, Instagram, Facebook, ChatGPT. All of these different technology AI platforms are merging with social media platforms and preying on children.
And that's where your expertise comes in with Meta's expertise as far as the technology is concerned.
Exactly. This is where we help students be able to recognize those grooming tactics and what to do when they experience those and feel the confidence to speak with an adult, a safe adult, a parent, or someone that is educated on this looks abnormal or I'm uncomfortable here, what do I do?
Where to learn more about this program?
Childhelp.org.
Okay, and real quick, for those that aren't familiar, what is Child Help?
Child Help is the nation's largest and oldest nonprofit organization working towards the eradication of abuse. We've been around for nearly 67 years and have directly impacted more than 13 million children in this space.
All right, job well done. Michael Medoro, again, with Child Help, and the program is called Staying Safe from Online Harm. You can find it on the internet, oddly enough. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I really do enjoy volunteering. I like to think that I have made a difference. That's enough. I don't need to be patted on the back. I've included my PBS station in my future plans. It's not a big gift, but something that will help them.
For more information about including Arizona PBS in your future plans, visit azpbs.org/giving.
Every little bit helps. If we can do a whole lot of little bits, then we've done a great service.
I'm Jeff Bennett. Tonight on the NewsHour, the world waits for how Pakistan will respond to India's latest strikes. That's at 6 on Arizona PBS.
A local all-girls robotics team recently won top honors at the Create Junior U.S. Open World Championships. And to learn more about the competition and meet the winning team, we welcome Alexis No and Tara Youngskool, both 8th graders at ASU Prep Poly Spark Institute, and their robotics teacher and their coach, there he is, Matthew Chicky. Congratulations to all of you, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Matthew, we'll start with you now. What was this competition all about?
Well, simply like with these competitions where they give us a task, and in this particular one, it was moving balls from one location to another, manipulating them, getting them into different scoring positions, and working with others to achieve a higher score.
Yeah, and things like performance, cooperation, all these sorts of things were factored in, right?
Absolutely. They were competing in groups of 4, so they had to work with 3 other teams, figure out a plan, and then turn around and execute that plan in a timed stress situation. And when things didn't go the way they were supposed to, they'd have to react on the fly and make it work out to the best of their ability.
And it apparently worked out pretty doggone well. Alexis, talk to us about, and I'm going to ask you about someone, Johnny 20.
Ooh, okay. So Johnny 20 is our robot that we made for this specific competition, because we couldn't use our other robot that we've used for most of this whole year, because he was just way too big for this new competition, because he was like a few inches wider and bigger than our other the requirements of the robot. So instead of altering Johnny 15, which is the robot that we mostly used this year, we just decided that it would be a lot more efficient to create a new robot.
And Tara, you built this thing like in a week? Is that true? The new robot, Johnny 20?
Yeah, Alexis did pretty much most of the building.
And what was your involvement?
At the end of the week, I helped figure out what could be added or improved.
Yeah.
And we helped test it and just figure out what could be improved.
When you were testing it, were things going really well and you were thinking, we got a chance at this thing?
Yeah, well, when we were testing it was a little bit different from the actual competition, because the rule book was a little bit confusing.
Really? Alexis, was it confusing? I mean, what was the difference?
They were, not to be rude for the people at Create Junior, their notebook and their website was a bit off. We clicked the link and it showed up last year's menu. But we were able to figure some stuff out, so we were able to get the basic idea of it, but we were mostly okay.
And Tara, I understand that there were weekly practice and build sessions involved with all this. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so on Fridays we have robotics, and it's a half day, and we just get to spend the whole day working on robotics.
Just working on robotics.
Mm-hmm.
And this, Matthew, this leads to Johnny 15, Johnny 20, I guess Johnny 25 is waiting in the wings. I mean,
could possibly be.
Yeah.
And then with these guys moving up to freshmen next year, they'll be going into a different version of the VEX robotics competition, and they'll be competing at the high school level. So.
And again, Alexis, the idea was for the robot to move a ball from one place to another, or a bunch of balls from one place to another?
Our robot, Johnny 20, specialized in moving multiple balls, specifically 3, at a time to input it into a end goal, which you can kind of see over there. It's the ones with the neon yellow outline.
Yes.
Our main plan was to get one of each color into one goal.
Yes.
And that would give us an extra points, which was very useful with our scores.
Tara, it looks like mayhem out there. What's going on? What are we looking at there?
So there are also side goals, which if you see yellow strips on the floor.
Yes.
If you push balls into the side goals, you also get points. So that's what most of the other robots were doing.
Yeah. So
it got kind of messy.
When you were watching the other robots and you were watching, and Alexis, I'll ask you this, did you feel pretty confident? Did you feel like you got this one?
When I first joined, I was pretty worried because I wasn't sure how much I was capable of in a robot that was made in 1 week, and just really stressed about it because it's a world competition.
Yes.
But when we arrived there and I started practicing, things went a little smoother. But when we actually went into a game, I was like, wait, this is actually decently a lot easier than I remembered or what I thought it would be. So And after our first match, a referee, I'm pretty sure, came up to us and like helped us plan out our thing and gave us advice on what to do.
Yeah, you must have felt pretty confident then, Tara, didn't you? I mean, things were going pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously proud of the response for both of you, and Matthew, you as well. I mean, what's going to happen to the Johnny 15s and Johnny 20s of the world?
Currently, they've told me not to disassemble them. So
Okay.
in honor to like the movie Short Circuit, we're not going to disassemble Johnny at this point in time. So we'll leave them as models of their engineering and their designs, because the designs they used are good ones that we can apply to future machines.
Yes.
And so in adaptation. So we'll keep them around.
What got you interested real quickly in robotics?
My dad,
Yeah.
he's an aerospace engineer, and I was like, whoa, that's so cool. I want to be an engineer when I grow up.
Yeah, and you're doing it right now. You're doing what you want to do. And Tara, what about you? What got you interested in robotics?
I've always liked STEM stuff. So I saw the flyer on the wall and I just wanted to try it out.
And I'm sure you learned a lot through the process.
Yes, definitely.
And that's the goal, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and as far as the ASU Prep Poly Spark Institute, what's that, real quickly?
The Spark Institute,
Yes.
it's our middle school that feeds into the Poly-STEM high school that's based out of the Polytechnic campus over in Mesa.
Holy smokes, that's a lot of poly going on.
It's poly.
Yeah, it's a lot of
poly.
STEM, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Well, Alexis and Tara, congratulations on the win. I mean, you guys should be very proud of yourselves. I know your families are proud of you. You're sitting over there. They're awfully proud. And Matthew, congratulations to you as well.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you all here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.